Konnichiwa and welcome to episode 23. This episode makes a change from the usual. We're moving out of the house and into the garden. With nearly 1,000 square metres of land on this property, it's a daunting task and it's something which we've been meaning to tackle for quite a while. It's March the 11th. Spring is here, the garden is blooming with weeds, mostly with weeds. Today I'm going to try and kill everything off before it gets too bad. We've got nearly 1,000 square metres of land, so it's going to be a really big job. Let me show you how bad it's getting already. Okay, so we've got this huge piece of land here, which is just completely overgrown. I'm going to try and strip back most of this over the next couple of weeks. Down here we have a lot of growth. I actually think this is quite pretty. I don't know what it is, but it's going to take over if I don't do something about it now. Very pretty purple flowers. All of this, I am going to attack it today. And then down the side, again this purple plant. And then this is farmland, but it doesn't look like it's ever had any vegetables on. This just looks like a forest. This is a lotus field. This does not belong to us. That's the back of our cowshed there. Look at this. Completely overgrown.
This red pink post here, this is a boundary of our land. And then down here, there's all kinds of rubble. It's got tiles on, so it looks like an old bathroom or kitchen. It seems to have just been dumped here. This must have been the previous owner's dumping ground. So we need to clear all of this out. But today I'm going to focus on spraying all the plants and the weeds. This is actually the drainage ditch. This is where the wastewater flows down to from our house and from next door's house. All completely overgrown. I think I better spray down here. So this house is not actually connected to the main sewage pipes, which is why it just comes down into this ditch. The toilet goes into a tank.
We have had a quote to connect up the toilet and the wastewater from the house to the main sewage pipes. It was about $1,000,000 yen, which is close to $9,000 US. At the moment, that's a little bit outside our budget and does seem like quite a lot, bearing in mind we only paid 5,000,000 yen for the house. The local plumber, Furukawa San, has had a look at the toilet tank and said it's in good working order, so we're going to leave everything as it is for the time being. This is a fairly standard chemical weed killer which we picked up from Kind's, our local homeware store. I didn't spray the front garden with weed killer as I wanted to be careful of the trees. I didn't want to damage them. I've just spent the last 20 minutes to half an hour pulling up long grass to get a better look at the situation. Let me show you what I've done. So this is what I've just pulled up. There's a small tiger in the bush. And now we can see the state of the garden a bit better. This was knee-high a minute ago in grass. There are a lot of weeds down here. I think I'm probably going to have to hand pull everything because we do have quite a lot of trees here. Although we could probably do with getting rid of some of the trees as well. I think there's too many for such a small garden. The plum blossom, the ume blossom is beautiful. Very fortunate to have this. I also like this sideways tree. And then this lantern is very nice. But we've got two, a small one and a large one. Might be able to move the smaller one to the garden that I built behind the bathroom window. A week later, Jessops came over and provided some much appreciated help.
I quite like the sideways one, but I also like that one, so I don't know which one we should keep. Which one do you like?
Oh, you like this one?
I like that, but I think we put that out. I mean, maybe we could cut that one down and make it smaller at the end. Like if you take off the top and make it a small one.
Yeah, that's true. Oh yeah, it's the worst.
But I can't decide between these two trees here. Take these two down and then decide again. This guy, right? Yeah.
I know what you're wondering, and the answer is yes. That is a palm tree in a Japanese garden. The question is why? Once we'd taken a few trees out, cut the grass, trimmed the bushes, thinned out the hedge, the garden was looking much better. We still need to pull up all of the weeds and give the garden a proper facelift. We might put up a fence and maybe put some deck outside the living room door. But for now, this is a pretty good start. It's looking much neater and tidier. Here is the before picture and the after picture. Turning our attention to the back garden, we started pulling out some of the overgrowth. You'll notice it's still looking pretty green, and the weed killer, which I covered it in, did not have that much of an effect. Timber! Yes, that is another palm tree. As the sun set, we retired to the cowshed where we set up the barbecue and cracked open a few cold beers. How was your day of work today, Jessops?
It was great. A
always good when you can work with the chainsaw.
Was that the highlight of the day?
Oh, definitely a highlight of the year thus far.
Bon appetit. Itadakimasu. Otsukaresama desu.
You know, eating and drinking always tastes better after you've done physical labor.
I would agree. This is the most delicious beer I've ever had. After that gardening.
Right. It's not gardening. We were literally like tearing down a forest.
It's true. It's not gardening.
It will be gardening.
One day. I have to say, I am enjoying these barbecues. Jessops was our first overnight visitor last night. He stayed up here, which is where Kiko lives for the time being. We are, of course, still in the small house behind the main house, so this was our bed and breakfast, or maybe barbecue and bed and barbecue. So I'm sure Kiko had a great time with his guest. What a lovely view to wake up to. This is actually the best view on the whole property. Jessop's gone out for a run this morning. He's very genki. Look at that. I mean, it's a shame we don't have this view from the main house. Anyone else wants to come up and help out? You're very welcome. This is a lovely room to stay in with a lovely host. We've got a pretty good view up here of what we did yesterday. We have cleared so much out of this area. You couldn't see the ground before. Turns out we've got a chicken coop. On the second day of deforestation, we turned our attention to the area directly behind the house. Yeah, this back area of the house is quite damp because it's so dark. So this will kind of freshen it up, I think. Oh, I'm seeing it.
Woo! That's the prize. It is the prize! We've almost tripled our pile.
I know.
We thought yesterday was big.
I know. This is just one tree.
Not a bad haul at all. A few days later, Furukawa San came to help us dispose of everything.
てよかったな YouTube。古川さんの家のお宅の前通ったら、はい、桜綺麗だったんだわ。そうですね。切っちゃったな。今桃が綺麗だね。桃の木もあるんですね。
This is Furukawa San's cherry blossom tree that he was talking about. That has to be the most beautiful tree I've seen. I can't imagine how special it looks when it's in full bloom. We'll have to try and catch it next year. A couple of weeks later, Ichi decided to give the persimmon tree a little trim. And then he got the chainsaw out again and did a bit more felling. We don't have any fixed plans for this area yet, but it would be nice if we had a nice grassy lawn, some outdoor seating and a fence up so we had some privacy from next door. Overall, we feel like we've made a good and much needed start on the gardening. Of course, it's going to be a huge project to get it into beautiful, usable space. No doubt it will keep us busy for several years to come. And we're not the only ones that have been busy outside. There's been a team of men harvesting the lotus roots in the fields behind our house. Turns out I'm not the only foreign person living around here. Most of the farmhands are from Vietnam. And for those of you wondering what a lotus root is, it's a vegetable which you typically find in Asian cooking. You would peel it, slice it, and then boil it. I've been using it to make a lotus root salad with a honey mustard mayonnaise. That's a recipe that Kyoko-san gave me. I've also been making miniature burgers with it, putting the lotus on either side of the meat and roasting it. Delicious. That's it for this episode. Next time we're back with more fun and games outdoors as we paint the outside of the house. If you want to have a guess at what colour we paint it, leave a comment down below.